Alright, so Sonic and Shadow come from a trope that has been done multiple times in different types of media before their creation. We have Superman and Batman, Mario and Wario, Goku and Vegeta, and to an extent, Naruto and Sasuke. It's the classic dark mirror trope where the main character has an antagonist / rival that is the complete opposite of themselves. The Sonic franchise itself is not new to this trope, as it has been done before in the form of Metal Sonic and Knuckles in 1993 and 1994 respectively. But Shadow, I feel like, is the character that goes full into this trope in a different but also stronger way, granted thanks to the accessibility of better storytelling through high quality cutscenes that games didn't have at a time. If you want to truly understand the dynamic between Sonic and Shadow, I feel that you have to understand the main theme of Sonic Adventure 2, Live and Learn. We'll get into the lyrics in another video, but for now we will only focus on the title. What does Live and Learn symbolize? Well, Sonic and Shadow, of course. And throughout the story of Sonic Adventure 2, we will explore the dynamic relationship of the two hedgehogs and witness how one's will to live and another's to learn first came into conflict to finally become one of the most iconic rivalries in gaming. When you boot up the game for the first time, no matter the story you choose, you start with the selected hedgehog being held in captivity. Already from here we can see the parallels between the two through their escape. Sonic escapes in the most fashionable, freestyle Sonic way ever. The dude is imprisoned on a helicopter at an I don't know how many feet of altitude, but that clearly doesn't seem to be his problem, as he knocks everyone on board, busts out the helicopter's door open, gets on top of it, gives one of the most iconic one-liners in the series.
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies, I'm out of here. I like running better.
Rips a part of the helicopter, then jumps and swirls headfirst down in the air. This introduction perfectly demonstrates us who Sonic is and by what rules he lives by, his own. There is no logic or reasoning in Sonic's actions here other than, this looks like the beginning of a fun adventure, I better enjoy every minute of it, as his cocky smile at the end of the scene incites us to feel the same as he descends to city escape. Shadow, on the other hand, does not escape on his own. In fact, the thing that frees Shadow are his chains to his past in the form of Dr. Eggman. Keep this in mind, as some of you know, this will be a running theme for Shadow. When Shadow escapes after he gets mistaken for Sonic, he decides to show the Doctor a display of his power, which leads to Shadow's first controllable experience to be a boss. This is where the whole speed versus power concept comes into play. Shadow, unlike Sonic, doesn't have a lot of pride in his speed. Where most of his pride resides is in his power as the ultimate life form, and the game made sure we understood that. That's the reason I feel like they made the player first control Shadow in a boss to make us realize how powerful this character really is. When you end the boss, we see in the next cutscene that Shadow already has a plan in mind that he wants to put into action. There is no freedom or fun seen here. There is something calculated in advance that we and Eggman don't know yet, and so of course we are curious to discover more.
But what did you mean when you said you will grant me a wish?
Bring more Chaos Emeralds.
Shadow, wait!
I'll be waiting for you in the central control room on the Space Colony Ark.
Ark.
Through these intros, we see that the stories catches the attention of the player in two different ways. The hero story captivates us with the excitement and fun of a new adventure through Sonic, as the dark story grabs our attention with mystery and curiosity through the new appealing character that is Shadow. Now, fast forward to the first time the two hedgehogs meet after Sonic's city escape in Shadow's Radical Highway. Sonic defeats Gun's flying dog but sees someone on top of it, someone who looks just like him, Shadow the Hedgehog. And notice the placement of the characters here, as this holds an important signification on how they see each other throughout the adventure. More importantly, how Shadow sees Sonic. Shadow gets the Chaos Emerald and indirectly introduces it to us, but right after that, Sonic calls him out for the situation that Shadow put him into. And Shadow doesn't seem to care at all. To Shadow, Sonic at this point of the story is nothing more than a casualty of his plan that seems to be whining and getting in his way like an annoying little kid. We can even see from his perspective in this cutscene that Sonic is below him and looks small and insignificant. And from Sonic's perspective, he looks tall and powerful as he steps on the boss he just got rid of, but he couldn't care less as he charges directly at him.
Say something, you fake hedgehog!
Chaos Control!
With the help of the Chaos Emerald, Shadow outmatches Sonic at his own game, speed. He then introduces himself as the ultimate life form and leaves Sonic to gun. And just like that, the rivalry between Sonic and Shadow the Hedgehog have been officially put into place, and us as the player are now even more eager to see their next encounter. Next time they meet, they are both on Prison Island as Sonic tries to break out while Shadow breaks in. At the beginning of the cutscene, their standings are the same as the last time they were seen in the same scene. That was a lot of wordplay. Shadow is still seen above Sonic. Shadow still sees Sonic as a bother that is far from his level. Heck, even says so in the same cutscene.
I found you, faker!
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Huh, you're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you eat those words!
But this time, Sonic has a chance to actually prove himself, and that leads to the first rival battle between the two. After the fight, the next scene plays and we see for the first time that they are at the same level of standing. Shadow is not seen above Sonic anymore. This tells us that the opinion that Shadow had on Sonic has changed. The blue hedgehog has left an impression on him and he no longer sees him as a pebble on the road. But he doesn't have time to waste to state that fact, as their fight is cut by Eggman that announces that the island is about to blow up. So they ran back to their respective teams.
You gotta get out of here! Find Amy and Tails! Right away!
Now the next scene is really important to explain their dynamic, even though they are not both in it, as this immortalizes the image that Shadow has of Sonic indefinitely. The scene in question is debatably the most iconic cutscene of the game. I'm of course talking about Sonic's ejection from the colony.
Let's take care of business first, shall we, Sonic? Hand over the Chaos Emerald, slowly, and then we'll talk about your girlfriend. That is, if you really care for her.
Handing over the fake emerald? I can kill two birds with one stone!
Put the emerald down right there and back off.
You've turned into a big-time villain, Doctor!
In this scene, Eggman tricks the whole team with his genius, traps Sonic and ejects him out of the colony the same way Shadow has been 50 years before him.
I'm counting on you, Tails. And Amy, take care of yourself.
Farewell, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic!
Farewell, my adversary.
Shadow, seeing this from below, saw the capsule explode and understandably assumed that Sonic exploded with the capsule. Heck, everybody did. There were literally no way to escape other than to use Chaos Control, which only Shadow knows how to use. On top of that, Sonic was stuck with a fake Chaos Emerald. There is no way you can affect Chaos Control using a Chaos Emerald that is fake, right? Shadow is informed after a serious talk with Rouge about his own existence, and this talk is one of the final factors to Shadow's eventual change of heart. You see throughout the story there were some small events like Shadow saving Root from the gun safe, him remembering moments with Maria, his encounters with Sonic, and of course, an event that we will get in a few, that made him slowly question who he really is. Because even blinded by rage and revenge, he is still a smart hedgehog. In the back of his mind, as he learns more and more about the truth, the answers become progressively clear.
This is Dr. Eggman. I have found all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Shit. Someone is trying to get the Eclipse cannon. There's not much time left before the cannon fires again. Can you get over there?
And even though it is not said exactly who, he already knew who that someone was. So he ended his conflicting conversation with his former teammates and went on his final chase. The climax scene of both of the stories opens up with Sonic looking far away to what may be the last road to the Eclipse cannon. But seconds later, Shadow appears. He lets the fellow hedgehog know that he did not expect him to get this far, and after discovering through him that he escaped using his ever so useful chaos control with a fake chaos emerald at that, Shadow has gone from uninterested to confused and curious, and asks what actually is he? And Sonic, being Sonic, answers in a way that really only he could do.
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
And with that, Sonic has now gained the respect of Shadow as a worthy adversary of the ultimate life form, as they both stand and run on even ground. But even so, he decides to end his adventuring days forever. Now from here, the fight can be won by either Sonic or Shadow, but it is implied that Sonic is canonically the winner, as not only is he seen destroying the cannon in the final hero cutscene, but also he is the first one to arrive safely to the Ark in the first cutscene in the last story. But that doesn't really matter to Shadow, as his and the now revealed Gerald Robotnik's ultimate goal has now been put into action. Next time we see him, he is calmly admiring the Earth for the last time, as he waits for his eventual death. But here comes Amy Rose, a character with an incredible amount of love and compassion, reaching out to Shadow and finally bringing out the true intentions of Maria.
I know that people fight over the most trivial things. Some people may be selfish, like the professor said. But they're basically good if they try their best and never give up on their wishes. They always have a reason to be happy. That's why you should help them out. Saving them is a good thing. Shadow, I beg you, please do it for them. Give them a chance.
Shadow, I beg of you, please, do it for me. For a
Maria!
better future. For all people who live on that planet. Give them a chance to be happy.
Shadow, now learning about the truth of his closest friend and realizing the colossal mistake he made, rushes one last time to make things right. After fighting off what he was once supposed to be, the Bio-Lizard, he joins his now considered equal in the center of the Chaos Emeralds. And after living and learning fully throughout their adventure, they achieve their super forms and set off to correct the missteps of the past. In this fight, where the respect for each other is at full display, Shadow acknowledges that the true ultimate life form has been Sonic all along, before putting a stop to the crashing space colony using one final chaos control at the cost of Shadow's life.
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.
The Earth has been saved and we see our heroes still in the now safe space colony. Everybody is seen talking to their respective rival for the adventure, except of course for Sonic, who still ponders about Shadow. all he was able to do was save one of his limiter rings. This scene is special because we see Sonic do something he doesn't do. He's reminiscing deeply about the past. Not briefly for a quick reference, not a quick resume about the adventure he just had. No. This time, Sonic is completely lost in thought, thinking about what Shadow represented, even though he stated clearly who he was to him to Rouge moments ago.
He was what he was, a brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save this planet. Shadow the Hedgehog.
I guess you're right.
But when Amy notices Sonic lost in thought, he quickly regains his usual chill persona. Well, not before waving one last goodbye to his greatest rival yet.
Bea, the ultimate life form.
What's the matter, Sonic?
Oh, it's nothing. Come on, let's go home. To the planet as cool and blue as me. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Now this could have been the end of Shadow the Hedgehog's story, but as we know, it is only the beginning.